There is a truth so powerful, so liberating, that when you grasp it, your entire life will shift. That truth is this: God is not far from you. He is within you. His power, His wisdom, His creativity, His abundance, they are not distant qualities you must earn or chase. They are your inheritance, already embedded in your spirit, waiting to be activated by belief. If you understood the magnitude of that truth, you would never play small again. You would never doubt your ability. You would never question your value. You would walk with a boldness that transcends fear, and you would speak with an authority that shakes the atmosphere. To act as if God is inside you means to move through life knowing that the Creator of the universe has chosen to dwell in you. It means you no longer beg for strength. You draw from the infinite strength within. You no longer plead for wisdom. You speak with divine intelligence already present in your soul. You no longer wait for permission to rise. You walk in purpose, knowing you were born for it. 2719 is your reminder. It symbolizes divine alignment. Chapter 27, verse 19 in the sacred book of your life is this: I no longer walk alone. I walk as a vessel of the Most High. His Spirit is my confidence. His power is my fuel. His presence is my assurance. That is the posture of the one who wins, not by might, but by divine awareness. You must begin to act differently, speak differently, dream differently. The mediocre mindset has no place in the life of one who carries God within. You are not just a creation, you are a co-creator, and the life you experience will rise to the level of your awareness of that divine partnership. Success, abundance, influence, they are drawn to those who act in harmony with their divine nature. When you believe God is within you, you stop playing the victim. You stop fearing lack. You stop hesitating in the face of challenge. You become magnetic, certain, unshakable. Now go and act accordingly. Divine identity produces divine results. Divine identity produces divine results. This is not just a phrase. It is a foundational principle of transformation. When a person begins to recognize their true identity as a vessel of the divine, everything about their life begins to align with that elevated awareness. The results they produce, the energy they carry, the authority they walk in, all shift upward. Why? Because you can only produce results equal to the level of identity you carry. A limited self-image will always create limited outcomes, but when you embrace a divine self-image, the results begin to reflect heaven's order instead of earthly limitation. To know your divine identity is to remember who you truly are, not just a body, not just a personality, not just a product of your upbringing or environment. You are a spirit, created with intention, infused with power, and placed on earth with a purpose that reflects heaven's design. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not lacking. You are a carrier of divine DNA. The moment you fully accept that truth, you begin to live and move different. People spend their lives searching for confidence, trying to gather validation from others, from achievements, from external approval. But true confidence is born from identity. When you realize God's essence is within you, not as a distant deity, but as an indwelling force, you stop seeking power and start releasing it. You no longer try to become something. You simply become aware of what you already are. A divine identity changes how you think. You stop entertaining thoughts of failure and inferiority. You stop living in fear of scarcity, judgment, or rejection. You think with a higher frequency, thoughts of creativity, abundance, purpose, and dominion, and those thoughts begin to shape your choices. They guide your relationships, your goals, your habits, and your reactions. The internal becomes the external. That is the secret. Your results are always mirroring the image you hold of yourself in your heart. When you operate from a divine identity, your speech transforms. You speak life, not because it's trendy, but because you understand the weight of your words. You speak as a creator. You call things that are not as though they were. You bless your path. You declare favor. You proclaim purpose. You speak with boldness because you know you're not speaking alone. Divine authority backs your declarations. Heaven responds to identity-driven speech. The way you handle challenges also shifts. You no longer crumble under pressure or play victim to circumstances. You rise, you endure, you overcome, not with your own strength, but with the assurance that the greater one lives within you. You stop asking, "Can I handle this?" and start saying, "This situation has no choice but to align with who I am." That kind of unshakable inner knowing attracts miracle. It draws provision. It breaks barriers. Divine identity also ignites divine assignment. When you know who you are, you stop wasting time on what you're not. You move with precision. You pursue your calling with conviction. You give your gifts freely and lead with impact because you know you were born for this. You are not a mistake. You are not trying to fit in. You were designed to stand out and stand firm. Ultimately, your life becomes the evidence of the identity you embrace. If you live as though you are common, your life will reflect common results. But when you live as one who carries divine essence, who walks with the Creator's presence alive within, then your life produces divine results. Peace that passes understanding, breakthroughs that defy logic, favor that flows effortlessly, and purpose that impacts generation. Everything changes when you see yourself clearly, not through the lens of past mistakes or present limitations, but through the lens of divine truth. You are more than enough. You are called, equipped, and anointed. And as you embrace that truth fully, your results will rise to match your identity, because divine identity always produces divine results. Faith is your activation key. Faith is your activation key. It is not simply a spiritual word or religious concept. It is the power switch that unlocks everything you were created to access. Without faith, your potential remains dormant, your purpose unfulfilled, and your destiny delayed. With faith, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is a force. It is a law. It is the unseen substance that reaches into the invisible realm and pulls your desires into the visible world. Faith is the master key that opens doors no human hand can unlock. It is what allows you to walk forward when the path is unclear, to speak vision when there is no evidence, to sow seeds when there is no sign of a harvest. Faith is not about what you see, it is about what you know. Deep down, beyond logic, beyond the five senses, beyond circumstance, it is the inner knowing that something greater is at work, and that you are aligned with that greater power. Every person who has achieved greatness, spiritually, financially, or in legacy, has activated faith. Not just belief in themselves, but belief in a higher truth, a greater purpose, and a divine power that supports their pursuit. Faith is not passive, it is dynamic. It requires you to take action while trusting outcome. It demands that you speak life while facing death, that you hold to vision while walking through darkness. It's the willingness to move before everything lines up. Faith is motion in the face of mystery. Your faith is the difference between living a life of reaction and living a life of creation. When you live by what you see, you become a slave to circumstance. But when you live by faith, you become a master of your response. Faith takes you out of the grip of fear and into the flow of divine power. Fear paralyzes. Faith energizes. Fear focuses on what could go wrong. Faith focuses on what is destined to go right. To activate faith is to agree with God's plan, even when you don't understand all the steps. It's trusting that what you need will show up when you step forward in obedience. You don't wait for proof. You move with conviction. Faith says, if I've been called to it, I've already been equipped for it. And that mindset unleashes resources, relationships, and results that logic alone cannot explain. Faith also transforms your language. You no longer speak from limitation. You speak from expectation. You no longer confess what the world says. You declare what God says. Faith refuses to speak death over dreams, health, or finances. It speaks life, blessing, and breakthrough. Your words become aligned with what you believe, and what you believe becomes your reality. Even more, faith unlocks your divine identity. When you walk by faith, you no longer try to become something. You recognize that you already are everything God designed you to be. You act, speak, and live as one who is favored, guided, and unstoppable. Faith causes you to rise from your past, step out of your comfort, and boldly claim the life that was written for you before time began. Faith also honors God. It is the highest compliment you can give your Creator, not just believing He is with you, for you, and working through you. And when you operate in that kind of trust, heaven responds. Miracles are not reserved for the few. They are activated by the faithful. So guard your faith, feed your faith, speak your faith, because faith is the activator of all things divine. It is your bridge from where you are to where you're called to be. Every breakthrough, every blessing, every next level in your life will require one thing above all else. And the moment you activate it fully, the moment you believe without reservation, is the moment you become unstoppable. Definiteness of purpose reflects divine design. Definiteness of purpose reflects divine design. It is the compass of your soul, the clear direction that aligns you with your Creator's original intention for your life. Without purpose, life becomes a series of random events and unfulfilled dreams. With purpose, life becomes focused, powerful, and magnetic. Purpose is not something you create. It is something you discover. It is etched into your spirit before you ever drew your first breath, and the more definite you become in walking it out, the more aligned you are with heaven's blueprint. There is no success without direction. Just as a seed contains the blueprint of the tree it is meant to become, your soul contains the blueprint of your divine assignment. But unless that purpose is defined, clarified, focused, and pursued with unwavering commitment, you will drift. And drifting is the enemy of destiny. The universe, by divine laws, not reward confusion. It rewards clarity, decisiveness, and dedication. Definiteness of purpose is the foundation of all achievement. It gives meaning to your actions and magnetizes everything you need, people, opportunities, resources, to bring it to life. When you know your purpose and move with precision, life responds in kind. You no longer waste time on distractions or settle for detours. You rise above fear, because the fire of purpose burns brighter than the noise of doubt. To live with definite purpose is to declare, I know why I'm here, and I refuse to waste this divine appointment called life. You stop entertaining options that do not align with your vision. You stop asking for permission to be who you were born to be. You understand that clarity is power, and purpose is the engine that drives that power forward. It is not ambition for ambition's sake. It is sacred alignment. Purpose is not merely about what you do, but about who you become in the process. When your purpose is rooted in divine design, it transforms you. It demands the highest version of you to show up. It calls you to grow, to stretch, to rise beyond mediocrity. Every challenge becomes training ground. Every delay becomes preparation, and every victory becomes confirmation that you are walking the right path. Definiteness of purpose also simplifies your life. When you are clear on your mission, you stop saying yes to things that dilute your focus. You make decisions faster, with more confidence. You invest your time wisely. You surround yourself with people who support your calling, not distract from it. You realize that not everything deserves your energy, because your assignment is too important to be spread thin. This kind of focus is spiritual. It is not rigid. It is reverent. It is not narrow-minded. It is deeply intentional. It acknowledges that your purpose is part of a larger divine symphony. You are not here by accident. You are here to fulfill a very specific role. And when you step into that role fully, the entire world benefits from your obedience. Purpose is also generational. What you do with your life echoes beyond you. When you walk in definiteness of purpose, you leave a trail of inspiration and impact for others to follow. You become a living example of what it means to live on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. You awaken others to their calling simply by fulfilling yours. Ultimately, definiteness of purpose is how divine design is honored on earth. It is how you take the unseen idea God placed in your spirit and make it manifest in the world. When your purpose is clear and your actions align with that clarity, you tap into a divine flow that multiplies your effectiveness and amplifies your results. So get clear, get focused, be unshakable in your direction. Because when you move with definiteness of purpose, you become an extension of divine design in motion, and the universe will not only support you, it will celebrate you. Spiritual power requires mental discipline. Spiritual power requires mental discipline. The strength of your spirit does not operate in isolation. It flows through the channel of your mind. If your thoughts are scattered, your spiritual power is diluted. If your mind is undisciplined, even the most profound truths will remain dormant within you. True spiritual mastery is not just about feeling divine presence. It is about training your thoughts to align with that presence until your inner world becomes a vessel for higher power. Many people seek spiritual power without understanding that their mind is the gatekeeper. They attend services, read sacred texts, and speak affirmations. But if their thoughts remain negative, fearful, or unfocused, their spiritual growth stalls. The divine cannot fully operate through a mind that is at war with itself. Peace is power, and peace begins in the mind. To access the higher realms of power, you must take full authority over your thinking. Mental discipline is the daily decision to think on purpose. It is the refusal to allow your mind to become a dumping ground for fear, doubt, distractions, and emotional chaos. It is choosing what you feed your mind, what you allow to repeat, and what you permit to grow. Just as you would not plant weeds in a garden you want to harvest from, you must stop nurturing thoughts that contradict your spiritual truth. The most powerful people in history, those who moved mountains with their faith, who healed, led, and transformed others, were not simply gifted with spiritual energy. They cultivated it, and they cultivated it by mastering their inner world. They woke up each day with intentional thought. They guarded their minds like sacred ground. They practiced stillness, clarity, and vision, because they understood that the mind is the control center of destiny. Mental discipline begins with awareness. You must become the observer of your thoughts, not the victim of them. Start noticing what occupies your mental space. Are you entertaining lack when your spirit knows abundance? Are you replaying pain when your soul desires healing? Are you speaking fear when you are wired for faith? Awareness gives you power to choose, and choice, exercised daily, becomes discipline. Your words are reflections of your thoughts, and your thoughts are shaped by your focus. If you focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what might go wrong, you cut yourself off from the flow of divine strength. But if you train your focus toward gratitude, purpose, vision, and divine alignment, your thoughts begin to shift. And as your thoughts shift, your energy elevates. Spiritual power flows where mental alignment exists. This does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means thinking from a higher perspective. It means seeing challenges as training grounds, pain as temporary, and purpose as permanent. A disciplined mind doesn't avoid reality. It transforms it by refusing to dwell on limitation. You take control of the narrative playing in your head, because you know that the story you repeat becomes the life you live. The power of meditation, prayer, journaling, and mental rehearsal lies in their ability to condition your thought. These are not just habits of the spiritual. They are habits of the powerful. They prepare the mind to receive insight, process divine instruction, and stand firm under pressure. They teach the mind to serve the spirit rather than sabotage it. To walk in spiritual power is to walk with mental clarity. It is to align your thoughts with divine truth so consistently that your words carry weight, your actions carry intention, and your presence carries authority. It is a daily discipline, a sacred devotion to thinking in ways that agree with your highest self. When your mind is disciplined, your spirit can shine without obstruction. Your decisions become wise, your energy becomes magnetic, your path becomes clearer, and the power that was always within you begins to manifest in undeniable ways. Spiritual power is not for the lazy thinker. It is reserved for the disciplined mind that dares to think like heaven while walking on earth. Speak with the voice of the divine. Speak with the voice of the divine, and you will shift atmospheres, transform realities, and align your world with heaven's order. Your voice is not merely sound. It is a creative force. When you understand the divine power embedded in your words, you stop speaking casually and start speaking consciously. Every phrase you utter carries energy. Every declaration shapes substance, and every confession either builds or breaks the life you're destined to live. God created the world with words, not tools, not effort, but pure intention, vocalized. And because you are made in that same image, your words carry that same potential. To speak with the voice of the divine is to speak from a place of spiritual authority, not emotional reaction. It is to rise above the noise of doubt and fear, and let your words become instruments of truth, healing, direction, and faith. Your voice is not just for communication, it is for creation. The moment you realize that your tongue is a spiritual weapon, you begin to guard it. You stop speaking death over your dreams, your relationships, your finances, and your health. You stop repeating the words of the world and start echoing the promises of the Creator. You speak not what you feel, but what is true. You stop narrating your pain and start prophesying your purpose. To speak with the voice of the divine is to partner with power itself. This level of speech begins with alignment. You cannot speak like the divine if you do not first think like the divine. Your thoughts feed your language. If your mind is filled with scarcity, fear, and defeat, your words will reflect that energy. But if your mind is filled with vision, promise, and faith, your voice will echo heaven. A disciplined mind produces a powerful mouth, and a powerful mouth shapes a purposeful life. Speaking divinely is not about being religious, it's about being responsible. It is knowing that your words can heal or harm, build or break, release blessing or curse. So you choose your language like you would choose seeds for a harvest. You sow what you want to reap. You declare peace when conflict surrounds you. You speak abundance when lack tries to settle in. You bless others even when they don't deserve it, because your voice is no longer reactive, it is redemptive. This kind of speech changes relationships. When you speak with the voice of the divine, your words bring life to broken hearts, vision to confused minds, and hope to discouraged souls. You no longer gossip or complain. You lift, inspire, and ignite. Your voice becomes a vessel of transformation. People feel peace in your presence because of the vibration of your words. You don't just speak truth, you are truth in motion. There is a supernatural law that says what you consistently speak, you eventually see. So if you want a new reality, speak a new vocabulary. Speak what aligns with the highest version of yourself. Speak what aligns with your divine assignment. Speak what aligns with the outcome you desire, not the struggle you fear. Declare boldly. Affirm daily. Command atmospheres. Let your words break cycles and unlock destiny. And don't wait until you feel ready. The voice of the divine is not dependent on emotion. It is rooted in identity. When you speak from your divine identity, heaven backs your words. Authority is not in your volume, but in your alignment. Speak softly or loudly. It doesn't matter. What matters is the origin of your words. Are they born from fear or from faith? From ego or from spirit? From doubt or from destiny? You are not here to echo the chaos of the world. You are here to declare the order of heaven. You are not here to repeat what's wrong. You are here to speak what's right, until what's right becomes reality. Speak with vision. Speak with power. Speak with clarity. Speak with purpose. Speak with the voice of the divine, and watch your world transform.